start.
Is there a name for this episode?
Leveling kits, level kits,
and lift kits. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of
Lift It Live.
We should have rehearsed this.
Yes.
This week's episode of Lift It Live.
So today we're going
So on this episode, we're going to do a little bit differently, and we're all going to drink our favorite tea. Except Banker didn't really get his favorite one, he got gypped.
It's so good. I've never...
I would thoroughly enjoy a sponsorship
Quint.
from such a delicious juice manufacturer.
I mean, you know, whenever I'm thirsty, I like to reach in the fridge and grab a big old Arizona tea.
Best 23 fluid ounces you could ever have.
It is 100% natural. That means there is no preservatives and or colorings in there.
You can't see that.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it's a lie.
This one's made with raspberry
Oh.
flavor.
This one has glucose.
I don't give a shit what's in it. It tastes good.
So back to today's topic.
So today's topic is...
Today we're going to talk about lift kits, lift level kits, and levels, and what the hell is the difference.
I'm gonna be quiet.
Yeah, and apparently you guys don't like technical shit, so we told Jake to shut up this episode.
Are those your lawn mowing shoes? I can tell.
He doesn't mow his lawn. He doesn't have a lawn.
Yeah, he does. I should make it really long.
Alright.
He has
Hey.
dirt yard.
Back. We're on, guys.
What do you want? What do you want to know?
We're going to talk
You're
about
supposed to
less
bring
leveling
like a
kits.
topic up and be like, okay, why don't you talk about the
All right.
stuff? Let's start
So-
off with.
We'll start off with a leveling kit.
Yeah.
Now, there's two styles of leveling kits. We have Silverado parts because that's all anybody cares to work on is Silverados because they want cool trucks. You got the-
Controversial.
You have a Silverado.
I'm not saying it's not controversial. What you said.
We have the top style and the bottom style. Most common for the newer trucks is going to be the bottom.
What do you
Goes
mean the
underneath-
top and bottom style?
On top of the strut and under the strut. This is your basic leveling kit. It's going to, minimal effort. You're going to keep all your stock components because this is all that's involved.
Where does it go?
It goes underneath the strut at the mount if you have a Silverado. If you have a Ford, you're going to be stuck with this style. You're going to take the strut out and disconnect the ball joint and do
Where
all
does that
sorts
go?
of stupid stuff to put this on top of the strut in the strut coil bucket thinger up on top. So that's a leveling kit,
Oh.
which brings the front up about 2 inches, makes it level with the rear. Level lifts are basically the smallest lift kit in the world and have minimal components. The majority of them are going to be a strut spacer on top and a rear block, so you get your factory rake at the same height, I guess you say, right?
You maintain the factory rate.
Yeah, you maintain your factory rake. This is a rough country kit. It upgrades a little bit. It gives you upper control arms, so you're not blowing out ball joints every 10,000 miles.
Instead, it's every 12.
Yeah, still a rough country ball joint.
Those
Um,
are
It is a move, problem solver.
I know. That's why I said it.
Stop whispering.
Their thoughts not for you.
So, this kit is also upgradable with shocks as well, longer shocks, so you're not stretching out your factory shocks. This is still going to, without a diff drop, you're still going to have hard CV angles, but at least it'll fix your ball joint. And it'll get the truck up in the air, and it'll replace your shocks with longer ones, so it'll give you a somewhat better ride. You want to go through the lift kit since it's on your end?
Yeah. So that really, I guess what separates a lift kit from a leveling kit would be a lift kit also includes, not only does it lift the truck, but it also includes the components involved to correct the affected ball joint and CV axles, etc., brake lines, whatever, from lifting the truck. So, like Banker said, with a leveling kit or a level lift, you're just going to use a spacer and lift things up, and it's pretty much going to max out or close to max out the angles for your ball joints and CV axles. Whereas a lift kit, say, you'll start usually most common is a 4-inch lift kit. So a 4-inch lift kit, that's why whenever, if you've ever watched some of the hot new suspension videos, I always talk about the components such as these new knuckles. So these knuckles that are going to replace the factory ones are taller than the factory knuckles, which means your upper control arm ball joint isn't going to have to droop down as far to connect to the knuckle. and that's what the knuckle comes in. That's the whole advantage of a lifted knuckle, is to correct for those ball joint angles. And then pretty much all lift kits include your lower control arm drop brackets, front, back. And what those do is it drops the lower control arms down further to correct for the lower ball joint angles. And then pretty much all lift kits, except for maybe some, I think like the 3.5 inch like rough cut, I don't know, even those can include diff drops, right?
Yep.
Pretty much all lift kits then also include some sort of a differential drop. Obviously we're talking about 4x4 applications, so this wouldn't be so true on a 2-wheel drive, but any pretty much 4-wheel drive lift kit will have components that will help you or allow you to drop the front differential down. And the reason why you drop the front differential down is because you want to decrease the angles of the CV axles, and the only way to do that is to lower the differential and make the CV axles as level as you can. Every lift kit's different. Some diff drops on a 4-inch kit will make the CV axles perfectly level, and some lift kits, they'll still have an angle to them. It's just the way some kits are engineered. Everything's a little different. That's why you have preferences over one brand versus another, because people like how one manufacturer does something versus another. And also, usually lift kits also include shocks as well, whereas a lot of times leveling kits won't include extended length shocks. Sometimes they include a spacer for the shock, because if you're going to increase the ride height, the shock only has so much travel, so they either give you a spacer or they just hope you're never going to decompress the suspension a lot and ruin the shocks. But most all lift kits will come with appropriate length shocks to pair with the lift kit height. So there's a lot more components obviously in a lift kit to basically correct a lot of the problems that you would have if you just tried to lift the suspension without addressing anything else.
Yeah. So basically, in layman's terms, it's the ride quality is the difference. The lift kit has more components, makes everything better. It's going to ride better. It's going to brake less. Your level lift is getting you the most lift you can with stock components, stressing everything to the max. And your leveling kit is just giving you what the ride height you should have had from the factory, basically, is what it comes down to. Stupid trucks these days, raked out.
I think that's like
So would you say that
always.
the leveling lift puts the most stress on components then?
Yeah, so a level lift is going to give you the most stress on everything because you're getting the max amount of lift your factory suspension can handle.
And you're losing your ride quality.
And you're losing ride quality significantly. That's why this kit is $300 and that one's $1,300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duh.
Some questions right away?
Yeah, give
That's
us
why
good,
we're
good,
here.
Give us good ones.
Am I allowed to answer questions today?
Depends. Are you gonna answer them well?
Or
Don't get too technical.
Don't get too technical, apparently. Okay.
Just pretend you're talking to Junior.
Jason's wondering, how easy is it to install a leveling kit on an 08 Colorado 4x4 extended cab?
Oh. Eat well.
It's not bad.
It's just keys.
Well, yes, it's
It's
torsions.
torsion keys. The better lift kits, the better leveling kit, like a Pro Ride, is going to give you shock extensions.
Yeah.
Depends on where he lives. If you're in the Rust Belt, 08's going to be pretty sketchy, pretty rusty underneath there. You've driven it through the winter. If it's
Jake had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, Jake had to go grab the torsion bar tool.
Oh, he's back from the bathroom.
And you'll need this.
Yeah, they make a U-bolt style. You'll probably snap and die. You'll want to find one like this at your local parts store.
Yeah, the cross member that the torsion keys actually go inside has a hole on the top, and that's where there's a little nub right here. That'll go in. This will actually go up to the key itself, and then you run this in, and it'll push the key up and allow you to. You have a little, I don't know what you'd call that.
Half moon adjusters.
Yeah. So you have a screw with a half moon adjuster. So you take that screw out, take that adjuster out and then back this off, and then that key, you'll be able to get that loose, but you still have to knock out the actual torsion bar itself from the key assembly. So sometimes when they're rusted, they suck.
Yeah, the Colorado may not be the best example because the torsion keys are upside down on those. Yeah, that's true. But that's how you do it on every other torsion bar truck.
Yeah.
Cool. Josh is wondering, standard BDS 4-inch lift or 4-inch 4-link is better for towing on a 15 Super Duty?
4-inch 4-link?
Yeah, they make like a.
Well, I mean,
They
like,
make adjustable
like a ladder
arms.
bar
Yeah.
assemblies?
No, he's talking about for up. What they do is up front they have like a, because those Fords have Super Duties have what factory are called a radius arm.
Yeah.
Right. And so a standard kit, a standard kit just has a drop bracket, so you can reuse the factory radius arm. But they also make a 4-link kit which replaces the radius
Roll
arm
assembly.
with 4 individual
adjustable
control arms.
Yeah.
Sounds like that would be a better setup.
But which one's better for towing? I mean, the 4-link's better for off-road because it's
Yeah.
adjustable.
Well, I mean, even for towing, though, it's still stiffer.
I wouldn't say necessarily one is really better than the other for towing. 4-link is going to be probably the best for overall in terms of being able to, because they allows you to dial in the alignment and stuff on your front axle too, so you can add camber and blah blah blah. And you know, that's 4-link is the big thing in the off-road world because it allows the axle to move as free as possible in terms of how it wants to articulate. A 4-link will allow that better than the traditional radius arm style, but I wouldn't say one is better than the other for towing purposes. So I would just save the money and get the basic one, which you can do so on our website.
Told them the keyword that would be telling them when they land.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna do a thing.
Okay.
We're gonna do a thing tonight, because we always do a giveaway, and I'll explain it later in the episode. But tonight's keyword is gonna be Arizona. Arizona
I've
is
been
the
there.
keyword for tonight.
Back
So
to-
anyway, next question.
Yep. Who makes the most expensive lift kits out?
Probably Cognito.
No.
Mass
No.
produced.
Bulletproof.
Bulletproof's more custom.
Are they saying just like an off-the-shelf lift kit? I
Yeah,
guess?
They're just wondering what's expensive.
that's a
lift
broad
kits out
question.
Yeah, because you can go to a fabricator
Yeah.
who builds.
I'll build you one. If
Who
you
builds
pay me now
spaceships.
whatever you want. I mean,
you go to
$1 million,
NASA
we're good.
and ask them to build you a lift kit. I'm sure it'd be a lot more than a BDS, but
Yeah, I mean, that's a loaded question.
I mean, there's a lot of fabricators out there who will build a suspension setup from hand, or
Yeah.
from scratch, I should say.
When you see the SEMA builds, a lot of that stuff is one-off. No one else has built it, and they're probably spending $20,000, just out the door, having somebody do that. So, it's I guess all in your preference or what you're wanting to do and how much you want to spend.
4-link on Kelderman Air Ride. With,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I guess what stands out in my mind is when I think of expensive, I think of bulletproof suspension. Their stuff's pretty pricey. They're still like I guess they're kind of an off-the-shelf brand. I mean, I think they're like more so made to order.
They have customizable kits. Yeah.
I don't know. Bulletproof's pretty expensive, but you can always find something that's more expensive usually.
Yeah.
Ethan's wondering on his 7 to 13 Silverado, if he puts 6-inch lift and 35s on, will it fit through a 7-foot height clearance?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
You sure?
I have 7.5 on 35s, and my garage door is 7'2", and I fit in it.
On the same body style? Is that what you said? I
Yeah.
wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah. It'll fit better the more bald your tires get.
Just if it doesn't fit, just let the air out of your tires, and then you'll go in.
Yeah.
You can always raise the garage door.
like a rock crawling experience going into your
Ruben's
garage.
wondering, is the shock upgrade worth it if you're only running a leveling kit? He's got an 06 F250 6.0.
I don't think that
I
you're
mean,
gonna
you could.
get too crazy with the adjustment.
No.
I mean,
Is he saying? Wait, is the shock upgrade?
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
worth
shock
it.
upgrade.
if you're gonna
on
put a
coil
leveling,
sprung
yeah,
truck,
if you're just
though.
gonna,
I mean, it can be worth it. I mean, you could get shocks that actually perform worse than the factory ones, and then I'd say, that's not worth it. But then you could also get shocks that are obviously better.
well, like say
than
you put a
factory
leveling kit
ones.
on, you're wanting to tow stuff. yeah, get a better shock. Like buy a Fox shock or something like that. It's stiffer, but I mean, if you're doing nothing but just putting a leveling kit on just so it's a little higher, you probably aren't going to notice much of a difference.
The factory shocks and the Super Duties came with like Ranchos from the factory.
Oh, yeah,
so you're going to have, they have
Yeah.
plenty of travel in them anyway.
Yeah.
That 2 inches isn't going to phase those factory shocks. Now, if you have 250,000 on them and then you decide to level it, probably upgrade your shocks.
Yeah.
You might as well get longer
If
ones while you're at
if
it.
you have a truck with some miles on it and the shock life's probably questionable and you're buying a leveling kit, I mean, spend the money and get new shocks because you'll probably need them anyway. But
Yep.
if you got a brand new truck, then just run them, send it.
Send it.
Steve Ferris is wondering, he's getting axle wrap on his 07 Ram 1500 with a 6-inch zone lift. How does he stop that?
Ladder bars. Traction bars.
Is he trying to do burnouts?
Of course Steve's trying to do
I mean,
burnouts.
because
It's because of the
We
rear
know
block.
you, Steve.
Yeah. Ladder bar. I mean, you're getting. I don't know. We kind of discussed this before.
No one calls them ladder bars anymore.
Okay.
Banker.
Four-link
I get
bars.
it from,
Traction
I get it from the
bars.
old man.
So, yeah, I mean, it all depends on your application. But if you're putting a lot of horsepower and you're on a block setup, it's going to try to. I mean, you're giving it more power by spreading it apart from the spring assembly. So.
Yeah, it's because of the block in the rear that you're having the axle wrap issues. So the options would be eliminate the block and go with some sort of a full leaf spring replacement. Even then, so you can still have axle wrap issues. The best bet would be to go to a traction bar. That's Mario's sign if something's wrong. that
He wants traction bars on his TC.
I'm having
Jason
axle wrap issues.
is wondering, shock extensions or lift struts worth the money for a daily driver looking to keep ride quality nice, looking at a rough country 7.5?
But you aren't going to get
Yeah.
shock extensions. You're going to get.
No, you'll get He's saying blocks.
I think
on
he's.
top.
Oh,
I
okay,
think he's
okay.
saying
Versus-
strut spacer
Gotcha,
versus
gotcha.
a full
or replacement strut.
Yeah, lift strut.
Well, let's get one thing out of the way. He's daily driving on a 7-inch rough country,
7.5.
and
That's yours.
yeah, it's not going to maintain the same ride quality. So be prepared for that. Like, not even close. But as far as the spacer over a full-length strut, as far as ride quality, the replacement strut's going to be better. It reuses your factory coil anyway. It's just giving you a fresh strut body to put it on. So
longer.
yeah, you're getting a longer strut that has no miles on it.
Do those? I don't think I've ever driven a truck with a lifted N2O strut. How do they ride?
We had like 3 in the last
Yeah, but
month.
those are all BDS kits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm saying
The rough
I want to
country.
know I don't know how rough country struts are.
We did one in like a Tahoe, and it wasn't terrible.
Can you compare it to your truck at all? Probably not, because your truck's
Not
totally
really.
different.
Yeah, it's a different
Yeah.
application, but
Yeah, most of the time you'll get a better ride quality from the full replacement strut, but you can't say that for all applications. I know on a rough country, I think it's only like $220 to upgrade to the struts, the full replacement struts. So I mean, it's kind of the same thing. If your truck's a little older with a bunch of miles on it, chances are you're gonna need shocks anyway. Or struts at least, shocks or struts. So I mean, I would consider spending the extra money to get the replacement struts and eliminate the block.
Drew's wondering, how are the BDS lifts on a newer Silverado 1500?
how are they? They're doing well.
Would you recommend them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I would.
I would
Yeah.
recommend the BDS lift kit with all of the applicable upgrades.
Yes.
And you can purchase that right on customoffsets.com.
I think those 14 and up half tons that we've done with the BDSs and the full replacement leaf packs ride really well.
Yeah.
like really well.
Yeah.
Like better than factory well.
Yeah, so if you have a 14 Silverado 1500 or 14 and up, I should say, and you want a really nice kit, get the BDS kit with the full leaf spring replacement in the back, and they ride awesome.
And get the steering stabilizer, and get the brake line extensions.
Yes. Get the brake line extensions, get the full leaf packs. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, great.
Joe Ray is wondering, do you have to change the gears on your differential on a
Potato,
7.5
potato.
inch lift?
Do you have to? No, you don't have to do
But
anything.
there's so much factors in that. Tires, like what are you running for tires? One other thing is if you're running a larger tire, you're gonna have
Easy.
okay. If you're running a very large tire, you might need to switch gearing, but in most cases, no. You can still run it, but you will see a difference as far as takeoff and drivability. Is that okay?
That's
You
good.
good at time?
That's good.
Didn't talk too much. No details.
So he can, kind of depends on tire size.
Correct.
I can't answer these questions.
No, it's not necessary.
It's not
but
necessary.
The tire size will definitely have a big factor on it.
Did you have too much tea?
I want a lab coat.
Next question.
Jason Bowden has a 2016 Silverado 1500 Z71. Little to no off-roading. Best option for a lift kit. He's interested in Fabtech, Pro-Comp, and Rough Country, and some others. He doesn't want to go too cheap. He's concerned about Rough Country's quality. But he doesn't necessarily need the highest quality since it's mainly going to be on pavement.
Then I would definitely look into the Fabtech kit, or even the Zone is decent
Brad
enough.
just got his own.
Brad did just get his own. Brad's actually gonna have a lifted truck for once in his life.
Yeah, never had one.
Weird. Me either. Wait. Okay.
Any upgrades to go with that mid-level kit?
Just get the basic kit with the basic shocks. You don't need the fancy shocks if you're not doing any off-roading. Fabtech kind of goes from basic shocks to I'm gonna jump this thing. So the basic Gen, what is it, Gen 2?
No, it's called Performance 2.0.
No, that's Rough Country.
Yeah.
What are they?
It's the Gen 2 or Gen 3 basic system or something like that.
Well, no, that's not that doesn't refer to the shock. It's just called like the basic performance shock.
It might be a package thing. Maybe
Yeah.
I should look into it.
You don't need the Stealth or the Dirt Logics. You don't need that.
Don't need them dirt lodges, son.
So, kind of tying into that, Jeff is wondering about on his 2017 Silverado Z71. Should you do the Zone 4.5 or the Fabtech 4?
I would go with the Fabtech 4. The Zone, the way they get the 4.5 is by cranking everything and getting that little extra half an inch out of CV angles, drive shaft angle, ball joint angle, things like that. The 4-inch is a straight up 4-inch. Your CV angles will look nicer.
Straight
your
up,
ball
son.
joint angles will look nicer. Yeah.
Potato, potato.
Do you have any input that doesn't involve mathematical equations?
Nope.
Okay, so Jason's wondering opinions on the BDS coilover for 2500 HD.
Get it.
Yeah, I mean, the ride quality is going to be amazing. It improved the ride quality on a Super Duty with a straight axle, so it can only improve something with a better suspension, like an IFS GM truck.
Oh, that is controversial.
That is not controversial. Ford suck.
Oh, snap.
Have you heard everybody on here ask about their Silverados? I haven't heard a single person. They had one dude to the 6.0 wanted a leveling kit.
Who's the guy, the Dodge with the axle wrap?
That's Steve. He doesn't count.
Everyone's gonna be like, IFS is gay.
You guys can email Cody directly at.
Do it.
Zach's wondering what is the biggest offset he can run in his 2014 Sierra 1500. Another GM.
GM, no,
Just
that's
throw it up there.
no, he said,
With a 7-inch rough country lift. What wheel tire setup?
Well, do you want
would
to
you
trim? Do you
recommend
not
Yeah.
want to
that he could
trim?
run reasonably?
Yeah, I mean, with no trimming, you can do a 20 by 10 and 35s.
But he wants to know the offset.
So negative 24. You can run 12 wides. You just have to cut more.
Yeah.
We got one more. Jason's wondering what options do I need to make sure the lift kit includes UCAs, knuckles, tie rods to ensure good angles all the way around.
I'm
How,
confused. What?
how large does he want to go? What company?
when, yeah, is he
Yeah.
asking about a specific brand and like kit?
What does he?
Not all
need-
brands will.
So you're
have
asking
that.
He's
what-
wondering about angles. What is
What does he need to include in his kit to make sure his angles are good?
Yeah.
A, buy a good kit. So FabTech or a BDS is going to give you your best option for angles. And in those, you're going to want to upgrade. FabTech gives you the option for UCAs. BDS should really step up their game and get on that UCA, uniball.
They do. Only if you buy the Fox coilovers.
Yeah, if you buy the Fox coilovers, you get uniball UCAs.
False.
Shut up, Kirk. He's the lift kit expert. It's an option. Well, you're going to get the option for, they come with tie rod ends or the BDS or FabTech. You're going to get the option for uniballs with the FabTech. The BDS, I noticed, does have a longer diff drop. Same with the zone kits. They have a deeper diff drop to keep the angles better.
That answer the question?
Yeah, I mean, the more money you spend on a kit, the better the kit, the better your angles are going to be, so on and so forth. BDS gives you the option for brake lines. Does FabTech offer option for brake lines?
FabTech doesn't really offer many options except for just shocks.
Shocks
They're
and
different shocks.
in upper control arms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Good. I think we're good for this week.
is that so? That's all for this week.
Okay, bye. Bye.
Only
Goodbye.
$23 float ounces.
Hold on, I have to do this yet. There's one thing
Too late.
that we have to do.
You shut it off.
He didn't shut it off yet.
I didn't. We're still running.
We're still running. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're still watching, the first person on YouTube, once this goes live, to comment our word of the day will also receive a Custom Offsets Lifted t-shirt.
Surprise.
Surprise.
Subscribe. YouTube.com/CustomOffsetsTV.
What the redhead kid said.
Peace.
So I forget what they would say. It's like share, subscribe.